Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, I'm Scott Bogie. I'm here with Tyree Sutton ahead of his fight against Jose Soto at Cage Fury FC 134. How are you doing today?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm doing not too bad. Now, this is your second professional fight. How are you coming in? How are you feeling coming into this fight?
I feel good. I feel being that my last fight wasn't too long ago, I feel like I hopped right into another camp, pretty much still in shape. I'm feeling great, man. I can't complain. I feel great.
And how does it feel knowing that professional debut, that's out of the way, nerves are gone, and you can now just relax a little bit more?
Well, I feel like the way I prepared for that fight, being that it was my pro debut, I feel like I prepared very well. So it was, I wouldn't say easy, but it definitely felt I wasn't as nervous as I was before, like any of my amateur fights. So I feel like the right preparation, and I'm gonna feel good in there again, And that's how I look forward to this camp too, as well.
And how was it? Because I know, obviously, you were meant to fight Jose Soto before in the last fight for your debut. However, the commission didn't allow the fight to go ahead. How do you prepare for that late change of opponent?
Being I definitely thought Jose Soto was the better opponent than the guy I wound up fighting. Not that I changed it too much. I didn't change too much up throughout the camp, but you still gotta go out there and fight. So I was just prepared to fight whoever they put out there. I definitely think Jose's a better opponent than the last guy.
Yeah. And do you feel like you're happy now that you are finally being able to get into the cage with Jose?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just happy to be in there. So, if I'm just glad he signed the contract and we could get things shaking. Like I said, it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be excited. I know that.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is happening in your hometown. How does that feel?
Yeah, happening in New Jersey, Atlantic City. I did a lot of things in Atlantic City. I fought, I wrestled there, wrestled in front of a lot of people, won states there. So definitely gonna have a lot of people there. And yeah, it feels good to just fight at home, having that home crowd feeling is gonna feel great.
And how do you feel the crowd's going to be? Because normally when you are fighting at home, you would have the majority of the crowd. However, both you and Jose are coming from New Jersey. So do you feel like that's going to put a split in between the crowd?
No, not too much. I'm not, I know I'm gonna have my fans there, and that's all I'm really worried about, putting on a show for everyone that's coming, for the new fans, old fans. Like I said, I'm looking to put on a show.
Exactly. And coming up from your amateur career, right at the start, you were unfortunately 0-2. However, were able to turn it around and you got onto this winning streak of 4 wins, one as a professional, 3 as an amateur. What changed? What got you onto that winning streak?
I feel like just the way I prepared, before, I feel like the first fight, the rule settings, not being able to throw knees and things like that.
Yeah.
That played a part in it. And then the second fight, I really wasn't taking care of like the nutrients part and the things I was putting into my body. So once I got on top of that, everything started to flow a lot better. I felt more comfortable in there, and everything you just get better with more experience you have. So that's all it really was.
And speaking about putting stuff in your body, you have had a fight at heavyweight and you have fought at light heavyweight. Was that fight at heavyweight a late? Was there anything surrounding that fight, or was that just a one and done?
That was just a one and done. I have no no desires to fight at heavyweight. There's some big guys, Um, I like the way I feel at 205. In the future, I might explore 185 to start next year. See how I feel. But I definitely think I can make a home at 205. So I like how I feel at 205.
That sounds great. And how do you see this fight going? I know both you and Jose have got good wrestling backgrounds. Do you feel like that's where the fight's going to go, or do you feel like the wrestling's going to neutralize it and you're just going to stand and bang?
Um, I feel like the fight will go where I allow it to go. If he wants to wrestle, we could wrestle. If he wants to grapple, I'm fine with that. But I think I'm gonna get done with on the stand up. I feel like he doesn't really have a good stand up game. He's gonna be trying to force wrestling. I'm comfortable with the wrestling, wrestling
Yeah.
anybody. So I feel like my game plan is just to make him uncomfortable. I don't think he's very good at standing up. So I feel like I'm gonna end the fight standing up on the feet, But like I said, if we wrestle, we wrestle, you know.
And and obviously you had a great wrestling background. You were the first state wrestling champ. Do you feel like having these accolades put a lot of pressure on you coming through the ranks?
Yeah, like I said, people just expect a lot of great things when you have the accomplishments I have in wrestling. So there's a there's a little bit of a you know sense of, oh, he has to get things done because I had the success I had in wrestling. But like I said, I feel like I've been training standing up for the last 2-3 years, and I feel like I could bang with a lot of people. So people I could do more than just wrestle.
And how is the contract situation with Cade Fury? Are you just on a one fight contract? Are you on a multi fight deal that you could explore other options? How is it?
Yeah, we're just doing one fight contracts at the moment. I feel like that just suits me better at the moment. So I don't want to be tied down right now. I don't want to be. So I would like to fight anywhere, any and everywhere. But if I can make a home at Cage Fury, then that'll be great. But as of right now, it's just one fight contracts. I have no problem with that right now.
And how have Cade Fury been as a whole so far? I know they got you that late opponent. How have they been?
'Cause obviously, Cage Fury is like one of the biggest regional promotions. So,
Yeah,
on this side, so I like it a lot. They're just very professional. Everything's so smooth. You know, yeah, I have no complaints with Cage Fury. They run everything very professional and smooth. I love it. I love it.
and obviously with Cade Fury, it is getting streamed on the UFC Fight Pass. Do you feel like that's giving you that opportunity to get your name out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they're the top of the game on the East Coast regional scene. So I feel like the more I can fight for them, the more this is the best exposure I can get as of right now. And like I said, if I could stick with Cage Fury for a little bit, that'll be great. Yeah, the more eyes I could get, the better. Hopefully, um, I get on that fight pass. Maybe not this fight, but maybe the next one, the next two. Hopefully, get on that fight pass.
Exactly. And how do you see Cade Warriors and well, not Cade Warriors, Cade Fury, they as of getting into the UFC? They have obviously got a lot of athletes in, like Shane Burgos, Kyle Dawkins, and they have had athletes return from UFC, like obviously Kyle Dawkins, he's now the middleweight champion, Chris Dawkins, Tafun, they've all came back, they're all fighting in Cade Fury as well. So how do you see them growing into getting you into that UFC?
They do a good job of getting exposure. A lot of people got eyes on them. And that was my main goal is getting onto a pro promotional scene that you know the UFC looks at, and the
Yeah,
UFC grabbing guys from here. So um, I feel like there's not a better regional scene on the East Coast that you could be in right now. Yeah.
And as you were coming through the ranks as an amateur, you were able to clinch the dead serious catchweight title. How good was that?
Uh, it felt good, just like I said, being that I wrestled on some big stages, that was just another stage, for me to be able to showcase my talent. And yeah, I like that series was a great amateur promotion. They did me good. I have no complaints with how they run things either. But yeah, it was. I look at everything as just a fight, because that's what it comes down to. But yeah, no, I that title was just another fight, just happened to be a title, and I felt great. I like winning things. So if anything, if I could get a belt in anything, I'm gonna try my hardest to win.
Now, it is a catchweight belt title. Just explain that a little bit more. Was there any like weight restrictions in that, or did you have to negotiate weights while doing the contract?
Nah, dead serious. They do they don't really have an exact weight. It's just more like 200 to 210. So they give you a little grace. But to me, I looked at it as light heavyweight. I walk into all my fights, try to weigh 205. If anything, I push the limit. If they give me 210, then I'm gonna make 210.
Yeah.
So I push the limit a lot.
And how do you feel about the having the range compared to the actual set in stone? I know you were saying that you always pushed it to be that 210. So do you feel like having that exact weight limit is what you prefer rather than having that range?
Oh yeah, like I said, I like the way I feel at 205. I feel like I move well. I move better than a lot of 205ers. I'm more athletic. I'm not slow. Um, and I feel like I take shots well. So yeah, I definitely like uh I like the way I feel at 205. And like I said, I do plan to explore 185 in the future. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, as of right now, I'm gonna see how long I could go at 205 before I could do that.
And speaking about that whole thing, what was your reaction when you were able to become that pro and become the elbows and the knees?
The rule settings I feel like was the biggest part of going pro. In any of my amateur fights, I wasn't able to ground and pound. I did a couple kickboxing fights. I wasn't able to elbow. So going pro and allowing me to use all my weapons was probably the biggest reason to go pro. Um, like I said, I feel like I can bring a vicious ground and pound game. I uh, I like practicing elbows. Now I finally get to throw them. Um, the knees, you feel me? I threw a knee in my first fight and got disqualified. But in any other, if that was a pro fight, that's a highlight.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, I feel like going pro with and having those rule settings just allowed me to really open up and really be myself in there because I feel like in my previous fights, I'm just holding back because I know I can't do this and I can't do that. Um, but I train those things. So it's hard training all those things and not being able to actually use those tools in the fight.
yeah, exactly. And obviously, the rule change has just happened. What what's your rule take now on knees to a grounded opponent?
Say it again.
How do you feel now that the rules have changed and you are now able to knee them when they are
I,
grounded?
I feel 10 times more dangerous now, you know, 10 times more dangerous. Being, like I said, I'm a wrestler, one. So being, when I was wrestling people in the cage and not being able to strike them or having to let them back up, and not having a great jujitsu game, I feel like I had to let people back up or I had to work on stand up. Um, when I knew I could have got people out of there, with a simple ground and pound game, so that was a big part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, I will give you the final word. Is there anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Uh, yeah, just shout out to my coaches, my my teammates, the people I train with, they helped me get prepared for this fight. And like I said, the preparation is probably the biggest part of why I feel like I go in the ring as confident as I do. So, shout out to all my teammates and coaches.
Well, that sounds great. Good luck for your fight. I hope you'll be able to get the victory, and hopefully we'll be able to speak before your next fight.
Absolutely, man. Great speaking with you.